What do you think it is that has made Bob Marley such a big name?
I think, maybe it's just what Bob Marley stands for.
What is that?
The truth. And the determination to stay alive.
Hip-hop and reggae are not music genres that are usually included in the same conversation, but these art forms have always had similarities with both their lyrical styles and their strong expressions of social unrest. Both historically have served as the voice of the streets by commenting on issues such as poverty, crime, and social injustice. This is evident by looking at the crack epidemic, which struck the heart of Black America in the 1980s, where the music the rappers were making during that time was synonymous with the devastation that was happening in their communities. Meanwhile, over in Jamaica, a gang war was very much alive in the streets, which was a result of a political rivalry which had divided the country over a decade earlier and sparked urban warfare in the capital, Kingston. A massive driver for peace and freedom during this turbulent time was the legend Bob Marley. Through his music, Marley fought hard to open the eyes of the world to the plight of third world countries. He also tried to show not just Jamaica, but the world, that peace was achievable, even in Kingston, where the hatred between political factions was so deep-rooted.
Bob, why are you returning to Jamaica?
Well, my life not important to me. Other people's life important. My life is only important if me can help plenty people. If my life is just me, my own security, then I don't want it. My life is for people. That's where me is.
Even during the 70s, as he became a megastar, Black American audiences never fell particularly hard for Marley. His stature as a world-renowned Black artist, writing and performing from an unapologetically Afrocentric perspective failed to draw in Black America the way his contemporaries like Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder did. According to people close to Marley, the lack of widespread support and enthusiasm among African Americans deeply troubled him.
Especially like how Stevie Wonder has done a reggae track. I think more Black Americans will be opening up to it. But it's not as if we just want to open up to more Black Americans as such. But we would love to know that we are being heard by them also. We want to be heard by everybody, but it would be good to know that we're being heard by them.
Decades later, and this lack of awareness of Bob's legacy definitely doesn't exist in hip-hop. Many artists within the genre have praised him and can be seen to have been impacted by him and his music. Most recently, Jay-Z, when asked if he thinks he'll be remembered amongst the giants of the game, replied, "Hopefully they speak of me with the names of Bob Marley and all the greats."
Just rediscovering Bob, it's like, oh my God. It's like the wisdom of the simplicity of what he was saying can go over your head when you're a kid and you're just singing, don't worry about a thing, every little thing. Like to a kid, that doesn't mean anything. But to a grown man now who's 29 and like been stressed about stuff that don't matter, Bob is telling me like, yo, it's gonna be good. It's all good. Like, don't even sweat that.
Drake famously sampled Bob during the outro of his 2011 hit single, Club Paradise.
I definitely would have loved to sit with Bob Marley. You know, I listened to his music my entire life. I've studied his life, and just listening to him speak in interviews that I've seen and knowing what he stood for, I would have just loved to understand like where his mind was at. And I mean, if I could sit in somebody's presence and just kind of build, that would probably be the guy.
Nas has a connection to the legend through his son, Damian Marley, as they released a joint album in 2010 called Distant Relatives, which bridged both hip-hop and reggae to make a purposefully charged body of work.
I gotta tell you, I listen to Damian's stuff, and today I was listening to his dad's stuff, You know?
Really?
Yeah, you know, just going into that world and, you know, Bob, you know?
Bop.
During an interview with Billboard, Nas stated, Bob Marley's impact is unmatched by any artist, ever. He stands alone like Beethoven, like Stevie Wonder, like Michael Jackson. He owns his block. There's been nothing like him. There will be nothing like him, said Nas. His music is timeless, and it's been a great inspiration to me.
Have you made a lot of money out of your music?
Money. I mean, how much is a lot of money to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.
What do you like about Bob Marley?
Yeah, he's just raw, you know, like he wasn't concerned about, you know, wasn't no BDS back then, wasn't no #1 on the charts. He was like, what I feel, like I'm just talking to my people, talking for my people, and I'm just making good music. And if it's accepted by the masses, yeah, but if not, I'm still good, man, because, you know, it's just good music.
Snoop Dogg briefly had his Snoop Lion phase in 2013. He stated that it came to fruition through him being heavily influenced by Bob Marley and Rastafarian culture.
What is it about Bob Marley? What kind of influence has he had on you?
What's
What kind of influence did Bob Marley have on you? Maybe your music?
Just to be able to have peace and love and harmony in the music that I make. That's what I feel like I've, you know, gained from listening to Bob Marley's music and being influenced by.
Even Cole's image seems as though it has been influenced by the reggae icon.
You're Rastano? What the fuck? When did you get these? We need to get you some aloe vera for them. You know where you got these? That's how you clean it.
The North Carolina native began growing out his hair in 2013, which was followed by a trip to Jamaica in 2015 to pay homage to the musician's legacy. He now has locks like Marley and has also been wearing shirts with the reggae icon printed on it. In his 2016 single, False Prophets, Cole rapped the lyrics, "Therefore from here on out, my hair grow out. I care nothing about opinions. I want to give hope like the fountains you throw pennies in." For Cole, choosing to grow out his hair is a political statement, for him not compromising for anybody in order to maintain his spirituality and his natural look, just like Marley and the Rastafarian culture. It's clear that Bob Marley's push for social and political change continues to echo through into hip-hop. His image and persona is being adopted by the genre's biggest names. His influence and the things he stood for inspired a generation of rappers to believe that their music can also positively impact the society they live in, and that they can also aspire to leave behind a purposeful legacy like him.
Jane asks, many of your jabs and right hooks reach your B2C audience, wine and books, for example. But how does it impact B2B?
Jane, my right hooks are not made for B2B, so you'll never see me tweet, hey, if you have a business, I want your business at VaynerMedia. It's just not feasible for me, but my jabs do. My content, where I talk about my thought leadership or my ambition to be a thought leader or my hope that I'm a thought leader, you know, the more I say things that are right, you know, somebody watching or listening right now to Ask Gary Vee, episode 88, I say something about smart technology that makes them say, yeah, they need that for their business. Hey, Gary clearly seems to be paying attention to this. Maybe I should talk to Vayner about doing some activations around it. We have clearly benefited as an agency from my outward content as a gateway drug to RFPs or out and out handed the business. So VaynerMedia has clearly benefited from all of this. And, you know, this is something I'm very passionate about for all of you that are watching and listening. It's super important to me for you to realize that you're always one great piece of content away from having your life change. Like, let's just understand what I mean by this. It's no different than being an artist with a song. everybody you know started off not being known and then had a song that changed their life. Every investor you've heard of that has done well and made lots of money had an investment, Twitter, that changed their lives. Content, though not to the level of Madonna or Chris Sacca, right? Content has the potential to change your life. So if you love something, music, photography, running culture, diet culture, museum culture, like whatever you love, you have to understand, by talking to the world, even if one person's listening, all you need is that one person to share it. The pipes of social network get into motion. This is why I love Medium. Medium will handpick content from nobodies, not big followers, just a good piece of content, and that becomes a game. You're one piece of content away from what you want to happen happening. Now here's the problem. Most of you are not good enough to make that content. And I get it. Like, that was rough. And I'm like, and I apologize. But talent matters, right? Like baseball players that get discovered in Japan that come over to the US and make lots of money, they had to be good enough to be discovered. You know, the quality of the content you put out matters. Like, you can't just be like, museums are nice. That's not gonna lead to you being the CEO of a museum. Do you understand? You've gotta be right. When I go out and put out content that says Instagram's gonna get bought by Facebook and then everybody says I'm an idiot and then it happens, I'm not an idiot. Get it? So, you know, the pressure I put on myself to answer these 5 questions on every episode is, these are historic. We're gonna look back at them. And if I'm like, wearable technologies have no chance, it's a fad, and then it happens, idiot. That wasn't my piece of content that took me to the next level. It was a piece of content that took me a step back. So recognize that we have the opportunity to win this game. Recognize the quality of what we say, what we produce, how we put it out there is the variable to that upside.